Finally doing my spoiler review. And look, I got a guest. Hey everybody. So I'm over visiting with Sexy Matt the Pharaoh Wizard.
Oh yeah.
And we're going to be doing a couple of videos today. I've been trying to get my spoiler review for Batman v Superman up, and this was a great opportunity to do that, talk with him, because he knows more about all of this than I do. So wanted to bounce some ideas off you too. Sure. I thought that was good. He's got a review up right now. Yours is a spoiler review, right?
There's a link. Well, it gets to spoilers at a point, but I put in an annotation to skip them if you want.
Oh, so it's spoiler free up front, and then they can skip over.
Yep.
That's right. Your other reviews do that too. Mm-hmm. My other review that I have is a spoiler free review, but I wanted to get into some nitty gritty onto this. So one of the things, the first thing, I got my list here. One of the things that, for overall, just to say overall, the movie wasn't good.
No.
But it did hit some of my nerd brain enough to where I left the theater happy, and I didn't get sad until I thought about it more afterwards.
Actually, I've heard that a lot. I went through the same experience. I left it like, you know what, that was alright. And then I sat down to write my review, and I did like a good section, like, that was good, that was good. What else was good? Well, I didn't like that. I'll put that in bad section. Well, I didn't like that. Wait, did this movie suck?
Yeah, it was like I was almost tricked into thinking it was a good movie at first, and but there are a lot of things in it that I do like.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of it that I don't like, and so I feel like this middle ground where, like we were saying earlier, the internet wants you to either love it or hate it, and I don't. Like it's okay.
It's a C+.
A C+, yeah. It's like it has a lot of stuff in there that I really enjoyed and made me happy to see on screen. But then when I think about the movie in general, it just seems like DC threw everything into one movie to get to Justice League as fast as possible.
Oh yeah.
So a couple of the nitty-gritty, the little things that I wanted to talk about. When they first said that they were going to be doing, when they were showing stills in the trailer of Batman's parents getting killed again, I'm like, really?
Right?
You're going to do that again? Like, we've seen it, 3 or 4 times now. And but what I did like is they just did it kind of quick in the beginning for the credits. It was like a credit montage.
Yeah, but I think they could have completely cut it out and even had him flashback when he did flashback, and it still would have made sense, because I think enough people know his parents died. And it's really weird, too, that they hired 2 fairly high-profile actors to play his parents.
Yeah, for like 2 minutes in the movie.
And I don't think any dialogue.
Right.
Because it was...
well, no, the father says Martha.
Does he? Oh, he does say Martha. Martha, Martha, Martha.
Well, that was one of the things... I don't know about you if you had put that together, but when I left, I was like, oh my God, I didn't notice that both their mom's name was Martha.
Well, I've talked to a few people about that, and they're like, it's weird no one put that together. You know why no one put that together? Because no one gives a shit.
Yeah, because it is a very weak motivation. You know, when Batman is standing over Superman about to kill him, save Martha. Why are you saying that name? What does it mean? And now they're best friends. Our moms have the same name, so we're best friends.
I don't know if you've seen that meme that someone already put up, but it's like Step Brothers, and it's like Superman's like, "Hey, we have to fight." And Batman's like, "Hey, we have to fight." Superman's like, "My mom's name is Martha." And Batman's like, "So is mine. Did we just become best friends?" Yep.
It did feel like that. Now there was a moment that, for people that would want to justify it, is after after Lois Lane says that's his mother's name, you see him kind of take a step back, and you can see Ben Affleck, like, you can tell that he's processing like a bunch of information, and he's kind of putting it together in his head, and he's like, holy shit, I've been I've been lied to. Like, I've been manipulated. So it's kind of like a realization form. Like, the anger was too much. But I still think it's a very weak...
Because it still didn't take away the fact that he killed a bunch of his employees, and that was his initial like motivation for hating Superman, which made sense. Batman's motivations made sense to me.
Yeah, so
Superman's
the beginning of the movie where they're showing the end of Man of Steel from Bruce Wayne's point of view, I thought that was great. I was like, yes, this is the perfect way of showing why Batman is so angry.
Yeah.
It makes total sense, and it explains the end of Man of Steel, which everybody was mad about.
See, I was okay with the end of Man of Steel, to be honest, because it was a young Superman, and he's learning the value of life by taking a life, kind of thing.
Right.
But my problem with that part, it did show a good motivation, and I liked it, but I also really wanted to buy a Chrysler during that scene. I don't know why.
You mean the car commercial they had going
the car commercial in the movie.
I was surprised they didn't have the leaves blowing when they go by, or the water spray from.
And it probably wasn't as bad as just that the literal car commercial is that scene.
Yeah,
and it's like you think like, oh no, that's just promotion for the movie / the car. No, that's the scene.
They just took the scene straight from the movie. It's like. At least they didn't go Transformers with it.
No, they didn't go quite. That was really the only bad product placement. There was some others I noticed, but that was the most overt. Like, man, I want to buy a Chrysler. I don't know why.
When Superman and Zod are fighting each other, what car do you want to have? I want a Chrysler.
When there's a fight going on in your small town, you want to stop in at IHOP.
If you need to escape. If you need to escape a falling building, you want a Chrysler on your side. All right, so one of the big things, Batman kills, and he kills a lot.
He is a murdering psychopath.
They kind of turned him into the Punisher in a Batman costume.
Yeah.
I mean, literally. He's not shooting people point blank like Punisher would.
No, but he was shooting at people.
He was shooting at people,
and that's the big rule. The 3 big rules of Batman were broken. No drinking. No guns, no killing. Yeah,
now this is the retired Batman.
Yeah.
He's disgruntled. He's been doing it 20 years.
Yeah,
he's probably to the point where he's like, I don't give a shit.
The drinking part, I let that slide. I didn't even think about that because I think all the other ones you've seen drinking in at least the movies.
Yeah.
Except maybe the Schumacher ones because those you can't have drinking in a kids movie.
We don't. Those do not exist. I refuse to admit that Batman and Robin was an actual movie. It was a nightmare that happened one day.
That's a crazy fever dream.
Yeah, crazy fever dream. Just like seeing the Omega symbol and fighting Superman's goons.
Oh, God.
That was such an out-of-place, nightmare, weird hallucination
Which
thing.
is weird because it was cool. The scene itself, I liked. And it was like, oh man, Batman's gotten to the point where he has to kill kind of thing. And that's where I was okay with him killing because it seemed like this is like the dystopian end. But yeah, he's just sitting at a computer and all of a sudden just like...
Right.
Oh!
And then they kind of throw in the Flashpoint series, or the Flashpoint story from Flash. They don't explain that that's Flash.
No, and they also... Did that happen or was that another dream? And
right, because the next thing is him waking up.
Yeah.
So...
And is the whole thing like a premonition? Like, is Batman a precog now?
Well, and apparently Lois Lane is the key to the whole thing. And so I'm wondering, are they going... Since they've been doing this, and this is one of the things I'm wondering, is they're throwing everything into this movie to set up Justice League and all of the individual movies coming out. Mm-hmm. So are all of these little tidbits setting up what's going to be in those people's movies? So are they going to do the Flashpoint storyline with Flash? Are they going to do the... are they going to integrate Cyborg in with the resurrection of Superman in some way, like they did with Steel?
Yeah.
Or,
I think they'll do Flashpoint if they've decided they've broken this so bad that they need to do a soft reboot like Star Trek. Like, this is where we've gone so too far. We need to dial it back, but we don't want to start from scratch.
Right, and they did plant a lot of little seeds. So I'm wondering if they're like watching or listening to reviewers and trying to get an idea of what they should do for the future movies. Or are they just going to keep making the same mistake? Because if they do the same thing to Justice League that they did to Batman v Superman, we're just not going to watch them.
Yeah. I think Zack Snyder might, but I don't think the other directors will. Like the guy that's directing Aquaman, I can't remember his name. He did a couple of the Fast and Furiouses, and he did the newest Star Trek coming out.
Oh yeah. I can't remember his name.
James
Wan.
Wan. He already is like, no, Aquaman's gonna be fun and full of action and bright colors. Like he's already like distancing himself.
Yeah,
from
like,
Batman
we're not
v
that. We're
Superman.
not that.
So I'm wondering if the other directors will get away from it, because Zack Snyder is a little bit of a loose cannon. He's done good stuff, but he's done some total garbage.
Well, the thing about Zack Snyder and his directing is the same thing. Pretty much how I feel about this movie is there's stuff I really like, but then there's stuff I really don't, and so I don't know. I can't say if I hate or love one of his movies.
Right.
I can just say is okay, or I like it, but there's problems.
You didn't like 300?
I liked 300, but the story was pretty thin. It was way over the top, but watching it, it's a fun movie to watch.
Yeah.
Because there's abs. No, but
And
boobs. Abs and boobs. They abs that movie all over the place. But his visuals are really good. Like his eye is very good. It's just the stories don't match the visual.
No, he's very much he's a very visual director. And that's why I'm one of the few people that like Sucker Punch, like one of the 12.
Well, I liked Sucker Punch for the visuals.
Exactly, yeah.
But for the acting,
see, I like it. I like the visuals enough that I get over that. Like, because every movie has holes in it. Every movie has problems. There's no perfect movie.
right?
It doesn't pull you in enough to ignore the problems.
Right, and that is where another thing where they faltered in this. I didn't have much of an emotional connection to anyone.
Yeah.
And I think part of it is they threw people in with such a dense amount of stuff, you didn't really get too much characterization.
Yeah.
Now, I did like Batman because I thought Ben Affleck did a great Bruce Wayne, and he did a good job of playing that I've been doing this for a long time, kind of almost disgruntled, desensitized. He's very desensitized.
Yeah.
And Affleck was the best part of the movie for me.
All right.
For me. I thought Cavill did an okay Superman like he did in Man of Steel. But what I didn't like was his Clark.
Yeah.
I did not like his Clark Kent. Now, you don't, nostalgia-wise, the old Superman movies are okay, but you don't really like them.
No, they're not very good.
I like them purely for nostalgia. But one of the things that I really liked about Christopher Reeve was he separated the characters between Clark Kent and Superman. Clark Kent had a different physical pose. He was, he had a slump. He made himself a little shorter. He was very bumbly. Not just the glasses. His whole character was different. And then in Superman 2, when he reveals himself to Lois in that cheesy hotel scene, he's got all of the mannerisms of Clark Kent, but he stands up straight as he's taking his glasses off, and you can see his transformation from one character to another. And then that makes more sense.
Yeah.
But the Cavill's Clark Kent was basically just Superman with a suit and glasses on.
Right.
Like, he had the same confidence, he had the same posture. Like, nothing about his character changed except he's wearing the glasses.
No.
So he's not, like, even trying to hide who he is.
Right. You know what? I don't know, you may or may not know this, but it'll make you watch the other movies. It won't ruin them, but it'll be something you can't not see.
Right.
Is his hair is parted different when he's Superman or when he's Clark.
No,
It's
I
parted
did
on
know
different
that.
sides.
No, I did know that. But you know what? If the guy can change inside a
Oh no, it makes
rotating
sense.
door,
I actually like that little. It's just that little.
But it does make you look different. I actually, right now my hair is parted in the middle because it's getting long. I need a haircut. When my hair is shorter, I normally have it parted from this side over. And I read a psychological report on the parting of your hair, how it makes you look to other people, how they perceive you. And you have people that part their hairs on the left side and part their hair on the right side. And so I tried parting my hair in the opposite direction just to see what would happen. And people thought something was wrong. Like they didn't know what it was, but they thought something was just off on me, and I didn't get approached as much as I normally do, or I didn't get as many reactions when I talk to people.
Yeah.
And when I parted my hair back the way I normally did, it was back to normal. So although it would make perfect sense to do that for those two characters, because people will see you differently even if it's subconscious.
Yeah. It's also a left-handed bias too, because if you're left-handed, you'll generally part to the left. Because you're going to hold your brush that way.
Well, I always parted to the right because I don't, like I comb my hair in the morning, but for the most part it's all hand. So I'm right-handed, so I do this.
Yeah. Well, it'd be the same if you're left-handed. You'd
Right.
always do that way.
And then when it's parted in the middle, I do this thing.
But anyways, enough about hair.
Batman has hair under his cowl, and we just know it's parted in one
Yeah,
direction.
they gave him a widow's peak. That was a nice little nod, though, that they shaved Affleck's hair so he had a widow's peak for a little bit. I like that.
So Lois Lane. Now, I like Amy Adams as Lois Lane. She had to grow on me in Man of Steel.
Yeah.
But I liked her in this movie as Lois Lane, except what the hell were they doing with her in the second half of the movie?
Yeah, they have no idea.
It's like the whole thing with the bullet, that's Lois Lane.
Right.
Like that would be her character, and I loved that part of her character in that movie. But when they get to the part where she's like throwing the spear in the water, and now she's got to go dive and get it, and Superman, that made no sense. It was like the 30 minutes that they cut out to put this movie in theaters. You could have just cut out her whole sequence there.
Yeah.
And saved you a bunch and could put more in the movie.
Well, I'm wondering if they had a mandate of how many times she had to be saved by Superman.
She has
at
to be,
least 3 times. In
she
this
has
movie.
to be a damsel at least 3 times. No, but I think they should have just cut her whole section out with the whole spear.
Yeah. You could have just had Batman just throw it or something.
Yeah, just have Batman throw it, and then they end up going back to get it or something like that.
Yeah.
Which is what they did anyway, but they added the old water thing.
Which I thought they were going to add Aquaman there, because that would have been a great scene for Aquaman to pop out with the spear.
Yeah, here, you drop this.
Yeah, see, that would have been great. That would have been your better nod than the actual nod we got of Aquaman.
The infamous email. That is the laziest way of showing who your Justice League characters are. Like you were saying earlier, Lex Luthor has people on staff that made the icons.
He went to his
for the
graphics
different
department.
characters. Yeah,
Like, hey guys, I have these. I need some secret files made. Just the pictures.
Yeah, this
make
dude's
some
really
icons.
fast. Let's make it a lightning bolt. They should add that scene because that would actually match with this Lex Luthor's character. But I didn't like the email, although it was neat to see those little tidbits.
Yeah.
I would have rather just watched that on my own online if I was interested.
Well, and the other weird part, which it's supposed to be a nice little nod, but it actually annoyed me, is they were in the order that the movies are coming out. The files were.
Yeah, Wonder Woman,
Yeah.
Cyborg, Flash, and then because Aquaman's not until like 2020, right? Or 2019.
I think you have them mixed up because I think Aquaman's
Aquaman
18.
is last.
No, Cyborg's last, I believe.
Well, Cyborg was second on the email list.
Was
Yeah. I
Alright.
saw it again last night.
Yeah, all right. But yeah, it's in the order, so it's almost just like, hey guys, just remember these other movies are coming real soon, so be ready.
Hey, Wonder Woman coming soon from DC.
And yeah, it's almost like if it was on YouTube, they would have had annotations to see the trailers for
Right.
each movie in that section. Click here to see the full trailer.
Click here to see more. Lex Luthor. I didn't like this Lex Luthor. It was like they were trying to make him the Joker. They made him crazy instead of. I like the Lex Luthor. Like I've heard other reviewers say this. Rosenbaum from the Smallville series. Mm-hmm. He was a great Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
Now I like the TV show, mostly nostalgic, and I can watch it whenever. It's cheesy, but it's one of those shows that, I like it. I just don't like to admit that I like it.
Mm-hmm.
But his Lex Luthor was really good. I liked his Lex because he was, from the public's eye, everyone liked him, thought he was great, you know, philanthropist and everything. But he's the puppet master and manipulates all of this stuff in the background.
Yeah.
That's what Lex is supposed to be. This Lex is like unhinged and almost too much like the Joker or the Riddler or something.
Yeah, I get changing the character somewhat, like they wanted to do their own thing. But yeah, all they need to do is watch the DC animated universe. Because the one that was in the Superman cartoon in the 90s, and even every single version that's been in all the straight-to-DVD movies, there's been a great Lex. And I think it's been the same voice the whole time, I believe. I could be wrong. But
well, they've kept pretty close with those voices.
yeah, I think Batman's changed out a couple times, but not majorly. But yeah, and that's been Lex. Like, he can be crazy, but he's also very, to the public, yeah, he's very cold and manipulate. Like, he is Steve Jobs. Is
right.
better based on.
Or you can say like even kind of Kingpin.
Yeah.
You know, the public likes him.
Yep.
But in the background, no, he's crazy.
Right.
And Lex was the same way. This, they just made him crazy. I mean, by the end of the movie, you think he should be in an insane asylum. I was almost expecting them to take him to Arkham.
Yeah, well, that's a theory going around that he's going to be in Suicide Squad, like as a
No,
teaser,
I don't think so.
like a little nod or whatever.
No, I don't think they'll do that. I think they're going to have Batman in there. I mean, we already saw that, but that's going to be a quick scene, maybe like how Joker gets captured in the beginning.
Oh, that's
of the
definitely
movie or
it,
something.
because Ben wasn't actually on set. It was just the stuntman.
Oh, it wasn't Ben?
No, it was just
So there's
the
no
stunt guy.
talking.
So yeah, it's
It's
just
probably like the opening credit montage
probably.
of how Joker got captured. Okay.
Hopefully, because I like that director a lot.
Now, Superman's motivation to fight. I have your mom. Now, I'm dueled on it, and on one scale, he did play that motivation right.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't like just go out and try and kill Batman because he had his mom. Like, he tried to talk to Batman first.
Right.
He's like, "Look, Bruce, let me talk to you," and just couldn't talk to him, which he could have said a little bit more, a little faster, you know?
Well, here, see.
It's like, come on, man, just get it out.
Well, yeah, Lex wasn't watching him or doing it. He was just like, well, go do it, and I'll just trust that you did it when you bring back the head. And it's like, he could have just folded a paper airplane with a note on it, like, hey, they have my mom. You know, and from like a mile up, just drop the paper airplane.
Hey, Wayne.
Just like a post-it note, just, hey.
My mom's name is Martha. Lex has her. But I'm wondering, like, because I wanted to know why did he set up all of this stuff and then created Doomsday anyway?
And what was the plan after Doomsday killed Superman?
Yeah, what are you gonna do with Doomsday after the fact?
You just destroyed the world.
Right.
Way to go, buddy.
So everything you were fearing, you just created.
Yeah.
Now the Lex that I know from the comics wouldn't be that careless.
No.
And you know, Doomsday actually wasn't created by Lex. He was created on Krypton by the scientists over there and all that kind of jazz. The look of Doomsday, I do agree. He looks like a mountain troll from Lord of the Rings.
Well, my friend Kim wants to write a paper on this. How everybody looks like Goombas from Mario Brothers, the movie. The Ninja Turtles do. The Abomination did in Incredible Hulk. Doomsday does. The trolls from the upcoming movie, Warcraft movie. Like, they all kind of look like the Goombas.
It's like they have the flat pug faces.
Yeah, it's like the default starting image on their program for CG.
Is a pug.
Yeah. It's like, let's just start here and we'll go from there. And then everyone's just lazy. It just doesn't matter.
So I agree that the initial look of Doomsday wasn't very good. But a lot of people are like, where's all the bone and the spikes and everything? Well, he gets that over time from dying multiple times.
Yeah.
So you're not going to start out with all of that. And they showed that in the movie of every time he got injured, it would get a little more. And so, like, you know, eventually he would end up looking like that. But I thought his initial look was too much like that mountain troll.
Yeah. Now, there's, I like the battle in general. It was mostly because my favorite part is Wonder Woman, and she was amazing in that section. But there's a couple problems I had. One, there's literally a scene of Batman watching Superman and Wonder Woman, fighting him, and he's just kind of like, "That's pretty good." Get some popcorn.
Not much I can do.
And it's like, I don't think Batman in the comics, at least, wouldn't just be sitting around. He would also jump in. And the other problem is the nuke. Mostly because if you set a nuke off in the atmosphere, you killed the entire planet.
Well,
they just murdered everybody.
Well, you get fallout. I think they were trying to show that it was outside. It was in space. It was in the vacuum.
But the look, at least to me, from my memory, it looked like they're still at least in the stratosphere. Like they weren't in space. They're just really high in the air. And that's just, again, the movie brought me out enough to where I would notice stupid things like that.
Right. Yeah, and the movie did that a lot. It would bring you out. Let's see, what else do I got here? So what do you think of the new Justice League characters? Like Wonder Woman, I think was great, but I thought her motivation for being in the movie was very thin.
Yeah, they could have
trying to just get her picture off of the hard drive.
They could have given her a better reason to be there. I think even just leaving that part out altogether and just having her being like, "Hey, that guy's fucking up the city. I'm going to jump in on this one."
Right, because she was literally leaving. She was on the airplane.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh, I better go back."
Exactly. If they would have just had her, just cut out that part of getting the picture back and just had her kind of hanging out in the background and then just have her jump in, I think that would have been a better reveal and also wouldn't felt like, oh, it's a surprise when we all know she's in the damn movie.
So do you know much about Cyborg?
Yeah, I know a lot.
Was he created by one of the mother boxes?
In a couple versions, yes.
Okay, so they are going with that, at least an actual comic book origin.
My one problem with him, and it's only a small one, is Clark was supposed to write a story on an injured football player. Mm-hmm. Like that was a small part in there, and I was like, oh, that's a fun nod to Cyborg because he was an upcoming football player that got injured, and that what started the whole thing. But then they just almost ruined that fun little nod by having the video of him full being, turned into it. And it's like, so how long ago was this football story that he's already Cyborg now? And it's like, you got to do one or the other, guys.
Well, but the movie would probably go back a bit.
Oh, yeah.
Like, this would be like something 30 minutes into the movie.
Oh, yeah, but I like the fun little nod of writing the story about Cyborg's origin. But then when you see that he's already in there, and it's like, is the Daily Planet like that far behind in news
that they don't know? Right.
That this kid's already been on this table for however many months Miles Dyson was working on him.
For those of you that don't know what a mother box is, I actually had to look this up. So it's created by Element X, and it's a sentient microcomputer box. And a mother box can pretty much give itself to somebody for a reason, whether it be healing them, turning them into the robot, or I think at one time Mother Box healed Darkshield.
Yeah, and they're used a lot on the planet Apocalypse as teleportation devices as well.
Right, and there's also Father Boxes, which are kind of more negative. Mother Boxes are more positive. And then the Transport Boxes or something like that. So that's what a mother box is. And this is going to go straight into what we're just going to do. It's not a reaction because we've both already seen this, but there was a new deleted scene that was released with Lex Luthor. And let's cue that up. I want to take a look at that.
Pull that up here.
What I liked about it was it was very short. But it gave us some tidbit information on the next movie, which they had done in the movie in other ways, but this would have been a little bit more straightforward, I think. Yeah. Go ahead. So now these soldiers we don't see later on in the movie, so I'm assuming they all died.
I guess, yeah.
They're inside the ship that Lex got.
It looks like a Alien from Independence Day.
But those are the mother boxes. That one that you saw that created Cyborg.
Yeah. Is he jerking off?
Nah, he's learning. If he did, that's a lot. So, now with that, some people are like, is that Dark Shield? But it doesn't look anything like. I sure hope that's not Dark Shield, because that looks like the demon from Legend.
You mean Darkseid?
Darkseid, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't look like Darkseid because it looks like a demon from Legend or Diablo 3 or something.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like Darkseid. I mean, Darkseid actually kind of
looks like Thanos.
Thanos or Apocalypse mix.
Yeah.
It's like they're all cousins or something.
He's a Pocket Thanos.
Pocket Thanos. So I'm hoping that is not supposed to be what Darkseid will be in the in the movie. Maybe I heard that could be one of his minions, and the one minion I don't remember the name of him, but he does look kind of like that with the horns and
I
everything.
thought all minions were yellow and short.
Like the poster at my house.
Yeah.
I love that poster because it says "I'm with stupid" right next to my head. I love it. Now, do you think that? I mean, they're obviously going to do Darkseid. The thing is, they were not obvious about it to the average viewer.
No, that was a nice little tidbit that they did, and you can kind of extrapolate enough. And that's what Marvel does really well, is that regular people can enjoy it, and then hardcore nerds can extrapolate and like, well, they said this, so that must mean this, and you can have fun theorizing and things like that.
Yeah, and I think
they did a couple things like that.
I think they were trying to do that, but they threw in so much stuff that the nerds would get that it muddled the story to the average viewer would have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
Or they're like, oh, I guess they're fighting a monster now. But they don't know who Doomsday is. They just know that he called him Doomsday.
Yeah.
But they don't know that Doomsday killed Superman in the comic books. All right, so Death of Superman. You know, this movie is basically two movies crammed into one. They really should have done the Dark Knight Batman v Superman story and then done the Dawn of Justice idea that they had with the Doomsday arc and have Superman die in another movie. Mm-hmm. But they crammed them together and kind of tied them loosely with each other in a bad way. But they went balls to the wall and actually killed Superman, which I thought was a little ballsy.
But did they?
Because then they retracted it by showing the dirt rise.
Yeah.
It's like, well, you gave away the whole thing. Hi, Cat.
Cat just got surprised.
Yeah, Cat just got surprised.
I don't know with what, but sorry.
But
I admire your courage.
So it's like, if you're gonna do Death of Superman, go Death of Superman.
Yeah, and that was my problem, and a huge part of my spoiler section in my video is I knew they weren't going to, and we already got 2 fake out deaths before that, where Batman almost killed him, then the nuke almost killed him, and so it's like at the 3rd time, I'm like, no, shame on
he's not gonna die.
Fool me once, shame on me, or shame on you. Fool me twice.
So if you're gonna almost kill him twice, and then you kill him at the end of the movie, make him dead.
Yeah.
And then you can bring him back in the next movie, like they did in the comic books. He was dead in the comics for a while.
Yeah.
They didn't come out with the 4 series. Maybe he's alive with like Steel and like Wonder Boy, the android, and then the real Superman or whatever. They didn't come out with those for months.
Yeah.
After you had the Death of Superman, man, and then the world just freaked out. Like, what? You can't do that.
Yeah, but this one I was like, no. By the 3rd time, it's like, no, fuck you, Zack Snyder, you're not doing it. So I'm just sitting there in the theater, like, nope, where's it coming back? Yeah. I don't buy it.
I don't buy it.
Keep stretching it. I don't care. You're not going to do it. I'm going to leave. And then it shuttered at the end, like, yep. And then I left because it didn't have a stinger at the end.
No. So the trailer gave away everything.
Yeah, I didn't watch it yet, and I avoided it because obvious reasons. But someone actually took all the trailers and made the movie like before it came out, he edited them together and basically made the movie.
Wow.
And I haven't seen it, so I'd like to check it out and see how close he came to making the movie. But yeah.
Well, when I saw the trailer too, the first half of the trailer, I was like, this is really good. You know, this is the best one so far. And then when they showed the lady walking with the coffin down the hallway, that's where it started to go south with me. And then they showed Zod and then Doomsday, and I'm like, you just gave away the whole movie.
Yep, there's
I know everything now. And I didn't like that Lex created Doomsday with Zod's body. I didn't like the way Doomsday looked. I didn't like how he was just thrown in there. And now I know the ending of the movie.
Yeah. And there was, like, because the first one was done really well, the first San Diego Comic-Con trailer.
Yeah.
And you see, like, a laser blast almost hit Batman. You're like, holy crap, Superman's, like, really going for it.
Which
and
it turns out that was Doomsday.
And then, that's Doomsday now. And it's like...
But see, and that's another thing. Don't show Doomsday because people are assuming Superman is almost blasting Batman.
Exactly.
And then when they do the fight, they're like, whoa, I didn't see that scene. And then Doomsday pops up. But, yeah.
Hopefully they learn from their mistakes, because 2 trailers into Suicide Squad and it still looks awesome.
Yeah,
So,
fingers crossed.
They don't.
After the second trailer for Batman v Superman, that was the moment I became more excited for Suicide Squad than Batman v Superman. So I think Leto is doing an interesting Joker, but I'm on board.
Yeah.
He's got me. He's not trying to recreate Heath Ledger.
Yeah.
Or he's doing his own thing, but it's still within the craziness of who Joker is.
Right.
So I do like that. I know a lot of people don't like the tattoos and the grills, but my point of view is if Joker existed today and he emotionally decides on whims to do things, it actually makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, he could just on a whim put grills because whatever.
Well, I imagine the grill is that Batman's punched out his teeth a few times. And that's like a false teeth thing. Because Batman would have punched out his teeth.
Would have punched out his teeth.
The tattoos I'm on board with because he's had tattoos in the comics multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get why people equate him to being a juggalo because he doesn't live in a trailer park and he's not a terrible person and he's not doing meth that I'm aware of.
Well, and the tattoos make perfect sense.
Yeah.
Anybody that has that kind of a personality would gravitate to tattoos. I mean, tattoos in general are awesome. Why would you not want one?
Right.
What kind of a person on that mental level would not want a tattoo? It would be like, it would almost feel like they feel that they would have to get one.
And I don't know
just to express themselves a bit.
And I don't know if it'll be explained or if even it'll be in there. My theory is that they're both done by Harley and he did Harley's. They're doing each other's tattoos. Almost as like a creepy sexual thing. That'd be kind of cool.
I'd be down with that.
Yeah. Just
I like Harley. Man.
Oh, I love that Harley.
I
have to battle uphill every day with different people bashing that Harley, and I love this.
I like the Harley. A lot of the arguments I've heard are very stupid and very thin. Most of it is the same argument I've heard with Wonder Woman. She doesn't look like her. Her boobs aren't big enough. And I'm like, seriously? Like, the female character, she has to have big boobs. It's like saying, we might as well CG all of our superheroes now because there aren't people that look like that.
Right.
And I think, like, Gadot plays a great Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Like, she was one of the things that popped out at me in this. Is I was like, yeah, I want to see a movie with her as Wonder Woman. So, in a way, this movie made me excited for the Wonder Woman movie. And I think that Robbie would do a good Harley.
Yeah, I mean, the arguments I hear is that she's too sexualized, which is crap because every version of Harley is overly sexualized.
Dude, she was overly sexualized on the original Batman animated
on the
show.
animated show for kids, she was over-sexualized. So I don't know what it comes from, and this is may sound sexist. I'll try not to make it sound sexist. But a lot of women have put her on a pedestal. I think it's a very cool design. She has a very cool design. Mm-hmm. So they want to cosplay as her, but they don't realize her character. She's a battered woman. Like, she's a Lifetime special.
Right.
And she's not necessarily that strong because she sticks with the dude that abuses her all the time.
Right.
But everyone wants to paint her in this grand light for whatever reason. And there's that, and I think everyone wants to be part of that relationship that, like, you don't understand us. You're not us. We know each other. And that's kind of So I think a lot of women have put her on a pedestal, and then seeing Margot Robbie doing... I don't think any version they would have done would have been good enough for people.
No.
Like, it would have been
matter
what.
You're dealing with comic nerds.
Yeah.
We're never going to be 100% happy with anything.
Yeah.
But you can at least... And it's even more difficult for me and you for being movie reviewers, because we have to see it from the nerd perspective and like a critical movie, like written movie thing.
Oh yeah. Well, that's one of my biggest gripes with any nerds is when they say it's not like the comic. Because I'm like, it's not the comic. It's a movie.
It's a movie.
if you want it like the comic, read the freaking comic.
Go read the comic. Yeah.
This is another person's completely different version, their own vision.
Yeah, it's more of, did they ruin a character?
Yeah.
Or did they at least...
Did you enjoy the character in general?
Right. You know, like Batman and Robin, they ruined characters.
Oh,
That's not Mr. Freeze. That's not Bane. That's not Poison Ivy. Well, Poison Ivy was at least somewhat close than compared to everybody else.
Yes and no.
Well, compared to everybody else. We're talking the least worst out of the whole thing.
The least worst, yeah.
But I mean, they basically just raped those characters.
Yep.
I didn't feel that any character was destroyed in this movie except maybe Lex.
I would say actually this version of Batman is broken. There's a lot of moments where because now we're stuck with, you can't go back and unmurder the 30, 40 people that he murdered. So this is the version of Batman, and so we're not going to get the Batman a lot of people really want.
Right.
Like all the Batman in the movies have murdered people. There's plenty of videos that show this, that's happened. But we want one that doesn't.
Well, and since this is the 20-year guy in, he retired, he has been forced to come back kind of thing. He's disgruntled, he's desensitized, this character. They could have a moment in the future movies where he realizes this and he's like, okay, you know, I'm turning bad, like I'm going too far. I need to pull myself back.
Yeah, I could see.
And he could have that realization of like maybe in the next movie where he's like, I went too far, or he's talking to Alfred. He's like, I went too far, and Alfred's like, yeah, I fucking told you went too far.
And actually, that's a good, because that could kind of work, because a lot of people have been theorizing the Batman solo movie is going to be Under the Red Hood, or based loosely on Under the Red Hood, and that would make sense, because seeing he's going too far on top of battling his old sidekick,
right,
would be that could work. Maybe Batman's not totally broken.
No, he's not.
I'll
he's
change
not
my
broken.
mind there. I'll flip flop.
Yeah, I don't think he's broken. I think he needs he needs a little bit of realization and try and bring him back towards who he really was. But at least this isn't the Batman that, like, they didn't make him this on year one.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, this is after 20 years of doing this. I think anybody would be desensitized and stuff. I don't think he should have gone full Punisher on it, but like he could still pull himself back if he realizes it. I think. So they're coming out. This is a little side thing from the movie review, but they're coming out with the Killing Joke animated movie.
Yep.
They brought Mark Hamill back to do Joker.
Yep. And
they brought what's his name to do Batman again.
Yeah, from the animated
animated show. Yeah. And you know, from what I understand, it's supposed to be a dark, either PG-13 or possibly R-rated Killing Joke.
Well, they've danced with R in a lot of the straight-to-DVD. I haven't seen The Dark Knight Rises or Dark Knight Returns, but they have been posting a lot. A lot of them have been put up on Netflix recently, so I've been having a chance to start going through them. And they're anime-style violence in a lot of them. Mm-hmm. Not full-on cutting limbs off and having blood explode everywhere.
Right, it's not Akira.
But so in that one, they would have to at least go a PG-13. Honestly, I'd almost want a PG-13, though, because the Killing Joke, a lot of the worst stuff in that is what you don't see.
Right. Yeah, I wouldn't want them to, like, do a graphic showing of him killing Jason Todd.
Yeah.
I would want like what they did in Return of the Joker.
Yeah.
If you remember that one.
Yeah.
That one was actually Batman Beyond cartoon movie. But in that one, they showed him turning Jason Todd into JJ.
Yeah.
And then him eventually just going crazy. So, but they showed it from like a Hitchcockian point of view of, we're going to get really close to the violence and then cut away shadow. You know, like...
Exactly.
It was enough to make your imagination go, oh man, the Joker is messing the hell out of this kid and screwing him up for life.
So that should be good. I haven't seen a straight to DVD one. I don't know if they call that universe because they're really not even interconnected. But I haven't seen one of those that's bad yet. They've all been really solid.
I was going to watch Flashpoint because of...
that one has some crazy moments in it.
Yeah, I started, I got like 10 or 15 minutes in, and then I had to go and do something else, so I don't even know why I started it because I had to leave. But yeah, I wanted to see that because of the moment in this movie. Now, one of the things this movie did do is it made me go back and research things that I had forgotten about, or I was like, that seems familiar, but I don't know from what.
Yeah.
You know, because I've been away from comics for so long. So I did like the fact that it kind of rejuvenated I wanted to go and watch the DCU cartoon movies now. You know, I want to go and see these and read about these storylines and kind of prepare myself for what's to come. I just wish that they had separated the movies out, just did this movie and concentrated on this movie, and then did this movie and concentrated on this movie, instead of trying to set up everything.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think they went full Fan 4-stick.
No.
Fan 4-stick just was insanely bad all around.
No, that was a completely broken movie. This one, I think the hype hurt it because you wanted it to be so good.
Right.
The fact that it's trailing off of two very surprisingly good movies of Deadpool and 10 Cloverfield Lane that came out of nowhere and were just amazing. And then this one kind of comes out and is just kind of okay. But when you're okay next to amazing,
right,
you don't look so good anymore.
Yeah, I don't think they were expecting Deadpool.
No,
at all. Like,
no one was expecting Deadpool.
Well, I was.
I've
been following Deadpool for the past year when they came out with the test footage.
Well, I knew it was coming, but I still had my reservations because I was like, hey, the kid could still fuck this up.
Well, and if the movie was anything like the marketing, I knew it would be good.
Yeah.
And the marketing was probably some of the most amazing marketing I've seen for a movie ever. Full props to Ryan Reynolds. You know, he kept the suit and basically, well, he didn't even tell him he was taking it.
No,
he was like, last day, he just stole it. But then they ended up using it. He said, I was probably in it more doing the marketing than I was actually filming the movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, genius marketing. If anything, I was disappointed that the marketing is now over because I was liked those little viral videos that he was putting out. It's like, when's the sequel so we can start getting a year's worth of viral videos off of Deadpool? But, you know, that came out of nowhere, and I think it did hurt Batman v Superman because people had higher expectations all of a sudden.
Exactly. It set the tone for comic book movies for the year, and that's the benchmark right now is Deadpool. Like, how good is, Civil War going to be next to Deadpool? How good
Apocalypse
is
with
Apocalypse,
Deadpool,
yeah.
Suicide Squad with Deadpool. And,
yeah, exactly. It's the benchmark for the year, and unfortunately, it was the first movie of the year.
Right.
So and no one else has time to fix anything. Maybe some Doctor Strange they can make some changes.
You still have some time with Suicide Squad in post-edit, maybe.
Maybe. But I don't know, because if you mess with the post-edit too much, then you get Fan 4-stick.
Right, that's true. You get Fan 4-stick or Mission Impossible 2.
Yeah. Or they make a completely different movie in the editing bay.
No. Well, that's all I've got. I mean, we jibber-jabbed for almost 45 minutes.
Yeah, right.
But, overall, I'm just okay on the movie. It's a bad movie when it comes to writing and how they threw everything in there and just kind of just bumbled it. It was very poorly written. But I liked it because it fulfilled a lot of nerd things that I like. Seeing Batman and Superman fight. I liked Batman. I like the visuals. Snyder's great with visuals, but he really needs somebody next to him that knows more of the writing that can keep him on track, I think.
Yeah.
Either he gets a co-director that like pulls him back and is like, dude, we need to stick to this for now. Or a producer or a writer, somebody that sticks next to him to try and keep him on track.
Mm-hmm.
But that's our thoughts. Comment below and let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe. Tell your friends. And we'll see you on the next video.